The Cubs had a 3-game series against the San Diego Padres, so we're going to go over all 3 of those games. We're going to have a quick preview of the upcoming Arizona Diamondbacks series. We're going to look at what went wrong and what went right for the Cubs in this series. All of that is happening soon on this episode of Cubs 360. Fans, this is Jack from Cubs 360. Thank you very much for tuning into episode 12 of the Cubs 360 podcast. If you're interested in this content, feel free to like and subscribe, and also follow us on Twitter at Cubs360X. So this is my recap to the second San Diego Padres series. I did not come out with a recap of the Padres, Rangers, and Dodgers series, and my apologies to that, but the Cubs had 9 games. They won 6 of them. They looked pretty good in the majority of them. The one San Diego game, I will say, pitching did not go their way. Texas's offense just showed Shota Imanaga there. So a rare, not so great performance from Shota in that game. Very rare, by the way. And then the Dodgers, just Matt Boyd just had 1 inning, gave up 3 runs in the 6th, and that's all they did. The offense didn't show up. So just small things to critique from those games, but overall very solid run of those 9 games. But we're going to get to these 3 games, and there's a lot to pick apart from this. So we're going to go to the first game right away, and the pitching matchup is Jameson Taillon versus Dylan Cease. And to start it off in the top of the first, Ian Happ pops out to the shortstop. Kyle Tucker will strike out swinging, and Justin Turner will fly out to right. Turner is playing third base because Matt Shaw got sent down to AAA, and we're going to talk about why later on in this video. But anyways, let's go to the bottom of the first with Taillon on the bump. Fernando Tatis will line out to third base. We're going to follow that up by Luis Arraez hitting a base hit to center. Machado will line out to left field, and then Sheets will also fly out to right, so that ends the inning. The Padres get a hit. So we go to the top of the second now, as Bush will fly out to right field. Dansby Swanson will strike out swinging. Nico Hoerner will hit a base hit to center. PCA will also strike out swinging, so you get the 1 hit from Hoerner. That's the end of the inning for the Cubs. We go to the bottom of the second now. Bogarts will fly out to right field. Iglesias will strike out swinging, and Hayward, Cubs legend Jason Hayward, by the way, will fly out to right. And 1-2-3 inning for Taillon there. As we head to the top of the third, Miguel Amaya will hit a double to left field. Matt Shaw will strike out swinging. Ian Happ struck out swinging, and Kyle Tucker will fly out to center. So you get that double from Amaya. That's the only hit you get there for the Cubs. In the bottom of the third, Wade will strike out looking. Maldonado will strike out looking. Fernando Tatis hits a home run to make it 1-0 San Diego, and then Arraez will fly out to the left. So after 3 innings, the San Diego Padres are up 1-0. In the top of the fourth, Justin Turner is safe on a fielding error by Machado. So he's on base. Mike Bush will hit a homer to right center field, which will also score Turner. So the Cubs take the lead 2-1. And then Dansby Swanson will ground out to short. Nico Hoerner will hit a double to left. And then PCA will hit a double, which will score Nico Hoerner to make it 3-1. And then PCA got caught stealing at third. And then Amaya will ground out to third. That's the end of the inning. So the Cubs put up 3 runs in that inning. There's an error. But either way, the Cubs take lead as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Taillon still on the bump. Machado will fly out to right. Sheets will foul out to third. And Bogarts will strike out swinging. So 1-2-3 inning for Jameson Taillon. As we head to the fifth, Matt Shaw will reach on an infield single to second. Happ will ground out to first, which will send Shaw to second. Kyle Tucker gets intentionally walked. And then Turner will fly out to right. But Shaw will advance to third. But then Bush struck out swinging. So we leave Turner on third. Matt Shaw on third. And get nothing there. So the Cubs end up empty-handed in the fifth. Taillon will go back out on the fifth. Iglesias is safe on a fielding error by Shaw. Hayward will ground out to the pitcher, and Iglesias will go to second. Wade will reach on an infield single to first, and Iglesias will go to third. So now I have runners on the corners for the Padres. Maldonado goes for the bunt, and it will pop out to first. And then Fernando Tatis will pop out to the shortstop. So there you go. So the Padres couldn't score there. So we go to the sixth. Dylan Cease will still be on the bump. Dansby Swanson will line out to center. Nico Hoerner will ground out to the shortstop. PCA will hit a single to left. And then Jacob will relieve Dylan Cease. Amaya hits a single to right, and PCA will go to third. But then Shaw will pop out to first, and that's the end of the inning. So you get 2 hits, nothing scored there. As we head to the bottom of the sixth, Tyone still on the bump. Ayers will ground out to short. Machado gets walked, and then Keller will relieve Jameson Tyone. Sheets will hit a single to left, which will send Machado to second. Bogarts gets walked, so the bases are loaded. Iglesias reaches on an infield single, and then Machado will score. Bogarts and Sheets will advance base, so now it is 3-2. But then Hayward will also reach on an infield single, this time to the shortstop, which will advance Sheets to, Sheets will score. But then Iglesias will go to second, Bogarts to third, so the bases are still loaded. It is now a tied game. Wade will strike out looking, and Gonzalez will pinch it from Maldonado, and he also struck out swinging, so the Cubs get out of the jam, but now it is a tied game. So Morahan will pitch for the Padres, and Elias Diaz will now be catching. Ian Happ gets walked. Kyle Tucker will strike out swinging, and then Happ will go to second on a wild pitch, and then Justin Turner will ground out to short, and Mike Bush will ground out to first. So that's the end of the inning. We go to the bottom of the seventh, and now Nate Pearson will take the bump, and this is where things go downhill. Fernando Tatis gets walked. Ayers will hit a double, which will send Fernando Tatis to third. So now you have the runners in scoring position, nobody out in the bottom of the seventh. And then Pearson with a wild pitch, which will score Tatis. Machado will go on to second. Ayers to third. And now it's 4-3. And then Sheets will hit a base hit to right, which will score Machado and Ayers. So now it's 6-3 in favor of the Padres. Bogarts will also get walked, so now you have two runners on. Iglesias will ground out to second, and Bogarts will go to second. Sheets will go to third. And then Eli Morgan will relieve Nate Pearson here. And Hayward will fly out to right, and Wade will ground out to Morgan. That's the end of the inning. The Padres now take the lead 6-3. We head into the eighth inning, and Adam will pitch for the Padres. Dansby Swanson struck out looking. Nico Horner will line out to center field. Pete Crow Armstrong will hit a base hit to right, and then he stole second. But then Miguel Amaya will hit a double, so PCA will score. And then you get, again, a base hit for Amaya. And in addition, you also get an RBI. And then John Birdie will hit for Shaw, and he grounds out to the shortstop. So we go to the bottom of the eighth now. Eli Morgan is still on the bump. Birdie will play third base. Elias Diaz gets walked. But then Fernando Tatis will hit a home run to make it 8-4. And then Ayers will homer to right field. So back-to-back home runs for the Padres. It is now 9-4. And then Machado will hit a base hit to center field. Roberts will go in, and Sheets gets walked. So now you have two runners on. Bogarts will ground to a fielder's choice, and Sheets will be out at second. Machado will go to third. But then Iglesias will ground to a fielder's choice to the catcher, and Machado will score. Bogarts will be out at second, and then Hayward grounds out to first at the end of the inning. It is now 10-4 in favor of the San Diego Padres. We head to the top of the ninth. Last licks for the Cubs. Peralta will pitch for the Padres. Happ will reach on an infield single. Tucker will ground out to a fielder's choice, and Happ will be out at second. Turner will strike out swinging, and then Tucker will go to third on a fielder's indifference, and Bush will get walked. Swanson grounds out to third. That's the end of the game. The Padres win this game by a final score of 10-4. The winning pitcher for this game was Morahan, and the loss, none other than Nate Pearson. And Nate Pearson, not good at all. I went on a rant about him on Twitter. Just not good at all. So basically, I don't know what to say. He's been struggling all year, and he just has no control, and he always walks guys to start off the inning, and it's just not good. And again, he cost us the win here, and Eli Morgan didn't do much better. However, Eli Morgan is now on 15-day IL, so if you want to give him an excuse, you could, but again, he's had his up and down moments. Nate Pearson has just not been good at all. He gets optioned to AAA Iowa, so now he's in the minor leagues, not with the big roster for the foreseeable future. But anyways, that is the end of the first game. Padres win 10-4, and with that, we will head to game number 2. So in game 2, the pitching matchup is Vasquez versus Shota Imanaga. So let's get right to it. In the top of the first, Ian Happ will ground out to short. Kyle Tucker will foul out to third, and Justin Turner will fly out to center. So 1-2-3 inning for Vasquez. Shota on the bump for the Cubs, and Tatis will ground out to short. Ayers will fly out to center, and Machado will also fly out to center. So 1-2-3 inning for both of these teams. As we head to the top of the second, Mike Bush will line out to first base. Swanson struck out swinging. Nico Horner with a base hit to right, and PCA will fly out to left. So the Cubs get a hit, but nothing much after that. As we head to the bottom of the second now, Xander Bogaerts will strike out swinging. Gonzalez will also strike out swinging. Gurriel gets walked, and Iglesias will ground to a fielder's choice to short, and Gurriel will be out at second. So we head to the top of the third. Vasquez still on the bump. Amaya will ground out to second. Workman will reach on an infield single to short. Workman played third base for the Cubs. Matt Shaw also got sent down to AAA Iowa because he's been struggling offensively. I mean, his batting stance doesn't certainly help him either. His defense has been there. I'm not going to complain about that, but I feel like this is a move in order to boost his confidence a little bit more. Jed Hoyer said this happened to a ton of guys, and the last guy that I can particularly remember this happening to was Javi Baez. But regardless, it's just a confidence thing. He should be back up. But bottom line, he's been really struggling offensively. And as much as I want to be patient with him, it's really been frustrating. So hopefully Matt Shaw can just find his confidence at the plate. But for now, he's just been struggling. And he's in Iowa for that very reason. So anyways, Workman will reach on an infield single. Ian Happ will hit a base hit to left, which will send Workman to second, 2 runners on. Kyle Tucker will fly out to center. Workman will go to third. And then Turner gets walked, and the bases are now loaded. But then Mike Bush will fly out to right. So you have the bases stranded. As we head to the bottom of the third now, Hayward will strike out swinging. Maldonado gets walked. Tatis will hit a single to center, and Maldonado will go to second. Arias will get walked, so the bases are loaded. Machado struck out swinging. Bogarts fouls out to first. So the Cubs also get out of the jam. Now in the fourth inning, Swanson will strike out swinging. Nico Horner flies out to left. PCA will hit a double to left, and Amaya will pop out to third. So the Cubs get a hit. No runs scored. Bottom of the fourth, Shota Imanaga still on the bump. Gonzalez will hit a base hit to left. Gurriel will pop out to second. Iglesias will hit a double to right field. Gonzalez will go to third. Hayward and Maldonado both struck out swinging, so the Cubs also get out of that jam with 2 runners in scoring position. We go to the fifth inning with a scoreless tie. So Vasquez will still be on the bump for the Padres, and Workman will ground out to second. Ian Happ will fly out to right, and then Kyle Tucker will hit a base hit to right, and then Vasquez balks here, and Tucker will go to second, and then he also steals third. Justin Turner gets walked, runners in the corners, Bush flies out to right, and once again, runner stranded, especially one in scoring position. Head to the bottom of the fifth here. Tatis will fly out to right, Arias will strike out looking, and Machado will bat because Tucker drops a foul ball, and then Workman will also drop a foul ball. So Machado will continue to bat, and the Cubs are really going to regret that because he hits a home run to left center field to make it 1-0 Padres. So you could have got him out there twice, and you don't. And then the Cubs end up paying the price. 1-0 Padres here, and Bogarts will fly out to left. 1-0 after 5 innings. So now we go to the top of the sixth. Dansby Swanson will hit a base hit to right, and then Nico Horner will hit a base hit. So Swanson will go to third, runners in the corners now, and Morahan will go in for the Padres. PCA hits a sac fly, and Swanson will score. PCA will go to first on a fielding error by Arias, and Horner will go to second. And then Miguel Amaya will sacrifice to third. PCA goes to second, Horner to third. And then Birdie will hit for Workman, and he grounds through fielder's choice to first. PCA will go to third. Horner is out at home, so the Padres save a run. Happ flies out to center, so we head to the bottom of the sixth. The Cubs tie this game up at 1 apiece. Palencia will go in for the Cubs now. Sheets will hit for Gonzalez, and Birdie will go to third. Sheets will line out to left. Gurriel will pop out to shortstop, and Iglesias will ground out to first. So a 1-2-3 inning here for Palencia. As we head to the seventh inning, Sheets will go to left field. Kyle Tucker will hit a base hit to right, and Estrada will relieve Morahan. And not Kyle Tucker. Justin Turner will strike out swinging. Bush will ground to a fielder's choice to Estrada. Tucker is safe on a throwing error by Estrada. He's safe at second. And then from the air, Tucker is safe at third. Swanson will strike out swinging, and then Horner will line out to left. So Cubs get a hit, but leave a runner stranded. So we head to the bottom of the seventh. Merriweather will now go in for the Cubs. Hayward flies out to center. Maldonado will strike out swinging. Tatis grounds out to third. 1-2-3 inning for Julian Merriweather. As we head to the eighth, and Adam will go in for the Padres. PCA will strike out swinging. Amaya lines out to third. Birdie gets walked, and he stole second, but then Ian Happ will pop out to short. So we head to the bottom of the eighth. Porter Hodge will now go in. Arias will hit a base hit to left. Machado struck out swinging. Bogarts will ground to a double play, and Arias will be out at second, and then obviously Bogarts out at first. So we head to the top of the ninth as Robert Suarez will go in for the Padres. Tucker will pop out to second. Turner will fly out to center. Bush will hit a double to right, and then Swanson struck out swinging. We head to the bottom of the ninth. Ryan Presley will now go in as Sheets struck out looking. Gurriel grounds out to third, as well as Iglesias. So a good inning from Ryan Presley, and I will say he hasn't been the closer in a year. Obviously, as most of you know, Ryan Presley was a closer for the Astros until the Astros signed Josh Hader, and then Ryan Presley goes into the setup role, and he wasn't really comfortable in that role. It was pretty obvious to anybody, but he's back in the closer position, which is what he wanted to be in. The Cubs gave him that offer. That's why he waived his no-trade clause there. At first, he kind of struggled. He showed his moments of being the closer that we know he is, but now he's really kind of gotten more acclimated to it again, and he's looked a lot better. So I got to give a lot of props to Ryan Presley. He's really getting comfortable, and he's just showing us who Ryan Presley is, and that's what we traded for. But anyways, now we go to the top of the 10th inning as Matsui will go in for the Padres. Nico Horner will triple to center, and that will score Dansby Swanson. I forgot they keep the runner on second rule in extra innings. But anyways, right off the bat, Nico Horner will hit a triple, which will score Swanson. PCA will fly out to center. Amaya will strike out swinging, as well as Birdie. So we head to the bottom of the 10th, and the Cubs are up 2-1. Thielbar will pitch for the Chicago Cubs. Joe will hit for Hayward. He struck out looking. Diaz will hit for Machado. Iglesias will steal third. So now you have a runner in scoring position. But Diaz will ground out to second. Tatis Jr. got intentionally walked. Then Ayers will fly out to left, and that is the end of the game. The Chicago Cubs win this game 2-1. This is the first loss for the Padres at home, and they've lost 4 games, and 3 of them were to the hands of the Cubs. So props to the Cubs, I'd say. The win goes to Ryan Presley. The loss goes to Matsui, and the save goes to Caleb Thielbar. And this is why I won't critique him like other Cubs fans do, because when he's good, but when he's not good, obviously he's not good. He's had his ups and downs, and when he's when I said, when he's good, and I feel like there is a bit of value to him. So I'm not gonna really criticize him unless he just pulls a Nate Pearson or an Eli Morgan or whatever it is. But I don't think the bullpen entirely is at fault. There are some individual guys in the bullpen that are not that good, but I think overall the bullpen is better than what it was. I mean, look at it for an example. I mean, Ryan Presley, he's looking better. Porter Hodge, Porter Hodge. Merriweather's looking good again. The Chicago Cubs, I would say overall, are in good hands. They win this game 2-1. My 3 stars for this game. The third star, and this really, to be quite honest with you, wasn't anything special because there really wasn't a lot that happened in this game. But I ended up going with Kyle Tucker here. He went 2 for 5. But the 2 stars that are ahead of him, I think, make a lot more sense. I would have, if I didn't give it to Tucker, I would have given it to Shota, but he kind of struggled in this game. He looked better than he did in the Texas game, but it didn't really move the needle too much. So that's why I have Tucker as the third star. Anyways, the second star, I have Pete Crow Armstrong. He went 1 for 4 with an RBI, and obviously the first star, none other than Nico Horner, who went 3 for 5. He had the triple RBI that put the Cubs ahead 2-1 in the 10th inning. So that is all I have in the second game. We head to the third game where the Padres and the Cubs are now tied at 1 apiece. The Cubs can go for the series win. So in the third and final game of the series, the pitching matchup is Nick Pivetta for the Padres and Matt Boyd for the Cubs. So in the top of the first, Ian Happ will fly out to right. Kyle Tucker will ground out to second. Seiya Suzuki, who was out of the lineup with something with his wrist or his hand. Nothing too serious, but he couldn't play for the last couple of days. He's back in the lineup for this game. He hits a base hit to center field, and then Mike Bush will strike out swinging. So the Cubs get a hit, but that's all. In the bottom of the first, Matt Boyd on the bump. Fernando Tatis will ground out to third. Ayers will fly out to left, and Machado will fly out to right. So 1-2-3 inning there for Matt Boyd. In the top of the second, Swanson will pop out to first. Horner will ground out to Pivetta, and PCA will strike out swinging. So 1-2-3 inning there from Nick Pivetta. In the bottom of the second, Bogarts will strike out swinging, as well as Gonzalez, but then Iglesias will pop out to the catcher. Another 1-2-3 inning there for Matt Boyd. In the top of the third, Kelly will hit a base hit to center field. Birdie gets walked, so there's 2 runners on. And then Ian Happ will hit a base hit, which will load the bases up. And then Kyle Tucker will hit a sac fly to left to make it 1-0 Chicago. Kelly will score. And then Seiya Suzuki will ground it into a double play. And that is it. So 1 run for the Cubs in this inning as we head to the bottom of the third. Joe will strike out swinging. Elias gets walked. And then Wade will hit a base hit to right, which will send Diaz to third. Then Tatis will reach on an infield single to second, which will score Diaz. So now we are tied at 1 apiece, and Wade will go to second. Arias will line out to center field. Machado will hit a base hit to left, which will score Wade, and Tatis will go to third. And while Matt Boyd is pitching to Bogarts, Machado gets picked off at first to end the inning. So 2 runs there for the Cubs, 3 hits allowed. Matt Boyd obviously giving up 3 runs in that 1 inning to the Dodgers in his start. And then he also, gave up those 2 runs. Other than that, Matt Boyd has been all but flawless for the most part for the Cubs. He's been really, really solid. And this is kind of the Matt Boyd that you saw from the Cleveland Guardians last year. Obviously, the only concern with him is if he can stay healthy, because if he is, this is the pitcher I think you're really going to see. He's really solid, especially since coming back from surgery with the Guardians last year. Anyways, we will head to the top of the 4th. Bush will line out to second. Swanson struck out swinging. Horner flies out to right. 1-2-3 inning there for Pivetta. And then in the bottom of the 4th, Bogarts will fly out to second. Gonzalez will line out to right. Iglesias grounds out to third. Another 1-2-3 inning there for Matt Boyd. Top of the 5th now, PCA struck out swinging. And then Kelly and Birdie both struck out looking. So we go to the bottom of the 5th now. Joe will fly out to right. Diaz will pop out to first. Wade reached on an infield single to second. Tatis is safe at first on fielding error by Nico Horner. And Wade will go to second. Arias also reaches on an infield single. He goes to short. And Tatis will go to second. Wade to third. So now the bases are loaded. Machado grounds out to second to get out of the jam. So Boyd and Pivetta, for the most part, are really looking good in this game. So this is what you call a classic pitching matchup. So we head to the 6th inning. It is only 2-1 in favor of the San Diego Padres. So we head to the top of the 6th. Ian Happ will hit a base hit to right. Kyle Tucker will fly out to left. Suzuki will pop out to second. And then Happ got caught stealing at second. And he gets out from the shortstop. And then Nick Pivetta will pitch to Mike Bush on the play as well. So that's the end of the inning there. We head to the bottom of the 6th now. Bogarts gets walked. Gonzalez flies out to center, which will send Bogarts to second. Iglesias reaches on an infield single to first, which will send Bogarts to third. So they have a runner in scoring position. Sheets will now hit for Joe, and Palencia will relieve Matt Boyd. So a very solid outing, I would say, for Matt Boyd. 5 1/3 inning pitched. But Palencia now, Sheets will strike out looking, and Diaz will ground out to second to end the inning there for the Chicago Cubs. As we head to the top of the 7th, as Estrada will go on for the Padres, Jason Hayward will go to left field, and Sheets will play first base. Bush strike out swinging, and Swanson will strike out looking, and Horner grounds out to third, so 1-2-3 inning there for Estrada. As we head to the bottom of the 7th, Wade gets walked. Tatis will line out to center. Arias will line out to short, and Machado hits a double to left, which will score Wade, and now it is 3-1 in favor of San Diego. Bogarts will line out to center to end the inning, so it is 3-1 San Diego after 7 innings. In the top of the 8th, with Peralta on the bump now for the Padres, PCA hits a homer to right field, and he's really starting to solve the offense, because even though we saw flashes of his offense figuring it out last year, he kind of struggled to start off right away for the Cubs, but now he's really starting to find a way to get that offense rolling. Now he has, I believe, 3 home runs at least on the year. He had 2 in that game against the LA Dodgers in that series finale, so good for PCA finding a way to get that offense to click, especially since the contract that was offered to him, $75 million. He turned it down because all he really needs to do is elevate his offense, like I said, before the season started. And right off the bat, I think he's starting to do that. So props to PCA there. So anyways, that makes it a 3-2 game. Kelly will ground out to Peralta, and then Turner will hit for Birdie, and he lines out to right. Ian Happ will hit a double to left, but then Kyle Tucker struck out swinging. So that ends the inning for the Cubs. 3-2 as we head to the bottom of the 8th. And Little will pitch for the Cubs. He got recalled from Iowa, so nice to see Luke Little there. And Turner will play at third. Hayward gets walked, and Iglesias will sacrifice to first, which will send Hayward to second. Sheets will get walked. Diaz fouls out to first. Wade gets walked, which will load the bases. And then Fernando Tatis got walked, which will obviously score a runner. So Hayward is the one that scores to make it 4-2. And then Roberts will relieve Little, and Arias will fly out to left to end the inning. So now we head to the top of the 9th. Last licks for the Cubs. Robert Suarez goes on the bump for the Padres. Suzuki lines out to center. And Bush will bunt, but he grounds out to third. And then Swanson will ground out to the shortstop. That ends the game. The Padres win 4-2. The Cubs lose their first series in the United States. Obviously, the only series before this series that they lost was the 2-game set against the Dodgers in Tokyo. So I would say that's a pretty solid run for the Chicago Cubs. Now with this, they're sitting at a record of 12-9. They are still in premier position in the National League Central. They are first place. Obviously, granted, they do have more games played than the 4 other teams, but the Cubs overall are looking really good. They're, based off power rankings, they're still in the top 10. They have the best run differential in baseball. So overall, I'm really happy with it. I will say, though, the bullpen had problems in this series, especially long relief. You saw later on in those games, you saw like the 7th and 8th innings where the game was close, but then obviously the game gets opened up, especially in that first game with Nate Pearson and Eli Morgan. Luke Little also got sent down. Jordan Wicks came up. So hopefully that solves a bit of bullpen issues, but there really isn't all too much you can do for the bullpen. Just you kind of have to hope for the best. But overall, I think as a whole, this was a decent series. The Cubs did beat themselves numerous times. However, I'm not all too concerned. So, again, the Cubs lose the series. They take 1 out of the 3 from the San Diego Padres. The Padres are now sitting at 15-4. The Cubs are now 12-9. And the Cubs have a 3-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks at home. They're starting Colin Ray. They're starting Ben Brown and Jameson Taillon. The Arizona Diamondbacks are starting Corbin Burns, Zach Gallen, and Merrill Kelly. So that really, the pitching on paper definitely favors the Arizona Diamondbacks. But historically, the Cubs have done decent against Corbin Burns. So, I mean, Cubs could have signed him. And I was hoping the Cubs would. But it's going to be interesting to see him at Wrigley Field. But I'm looking forward to the series. I think Arizona sitting at a very good record as well. They're only 4th in their division, and if you put them in any other division, they're at least tied for first place in any other division. That just shows how stacked, as of right now, the National League West is. You have the Padres on top, you have the Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants, and then just Colorado at the bottom, but that's the Rockies. So that's really all I have for this. Give me your thoughts on this series, and eventually, Sunday or Monday, I will post my series recap for the Diamondback series. This is the first series recap that I will record that was at Wrigley Field. I missed 3 other series between, obviously, the Padres at Wrigley, the Rangers, and the Dodgers, but I went over that briefly at the beginning of the video, so if you were curious to see my thoughts on that, you can go back to the beginning of the video. If you're interested in the content again, feel free to follow us on Twitter at Cubs360X, and that's all I got to say for this. Like and subscribe. This is Jack from Cubs360, and as always, go Cubs go.